Be sure to cook.
Welcome back to another episode of Be Sure to Cook. Today, we're going to be making my son's favorite dish, Rasta Pasta. So let's do this and let's get started. Okay, we're going to start off with 2 pounds of uncooked deveined shrimp, and these are the jumbo kind. And we're going to use about a teaspoon of Jamaican jerk seasoning. Now let me tell you something. I'm getting mad because I'm letting you all know it can get hot up in here, and I ain't got time to steam tonight. I got to be ready for tomorrow. So we're going to use now. You can also use hot if you want, extra hot and all the flavors. But don't forget to use Jamaican jerk seasoning. So let's go ahead and let's start rinsing off our shrimp. And let's do this. Okay, you don't have to, but I do. I got to get my own twist in here. I am putting a half tablespoon of minced garlic, and I'm just using minced garlic that you can just get in the store. I usually chop it up and do it homemade, just chop it up. The minced garlic is really together, and I don't have any fresh, so this is give it a little flavor. Okay, then my little flavor. Next, I'm going to be putting in here. I'm going to put about a half teaspoon of Old Bay. You don't need that half teaspoon. So right now that's the garlic that I'm going to still be 1/4 should be about that. Okay, yeah, a little bit of that. We're going to mix it up. This jerk seasoning is so hot and spicy. I mean, even the mouth to me. And as you know, I'm just using a regular, my famous wooden spoon. I'll use wooden spoons on everything. I got so many different wooden spoons. It's ridiculous. I just happen to like the old-fashioned wooden spoons. And that's what my show's really based off of, the old-fashioned wooden spoons. So I'm just going to mix this up really, really good. And I'm only doing this because I just don't feel like getting in there and getting my hands all fishy. So of course, ladies and gentlemen, my famous Mrs. Dash Blend. I'm just going to use the same. I'm just going to shake a little bit of this, not a lot, because that jerk season in there. But see, this has got all kind of different seasons in here. So if you want to, if you do have to have, amount to put in there, put 1/4 teaspoon in there. And let's go ahead and mix it up. It has to get some flavor. I'm the flavor lady. I need flavor. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do, like I said, we're going to add about a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half. It depends on how much shrimp you got. Since this is so spicy, I'm going to add a teaspoon, and that's a whole tablespoon. I keep saying teaspoon, but I mean tablespoon, because that is a lot of shrimp in there. So I'm going to put that back in there. And I'm just going to kind of mix this up because it is spicy. And once you get to mixing it and it don't look like it's really coated well, just add another half. I'm just kind of like flipping these around. I know it seems like I'm abusing the shrimp. I'm really not. I'm just tossing. I've been cooking for so long. I know how to do this. So don't mix it. Don't stir it. Just kind of like toss it. Toss it gently. So it looks a little bit coated, but you know what? Just to make sure, I want to do maybe a half more tablespoon, half more tablespoon. So, I have to get my words right because I be just like messing up sometimes when I say stuff because I be so excited to cook stuff. Man, I just be saying all kind of stuff, but I have to get it right, guys. I have to. I got to be a little jokester every now and then. So I'm just going to like toss this around and make sure. See, this is nice and well coated for me. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a wrap on there, a seal wrap on top of this bowl, and we're going to let these sit in the refrigerator for about an hour. And let's let these really, really marinate. And if you really want them to really marinate, leave it in there for another 2 or 3 hours. Or, go to work, marinate this before you come home. Go to work when you get off work. They're all marinated and ready to be done. We got to do our vegetables. So let's go ahead and wrap this up and let's start getting this in the fridge. Here are our bell peppers. Most people use the orange, the green, the red, but we decided to throw yellow in. So now we're going to be using yellow, the red, the green, and the orange. And we're going to julie and slice these up. But first, what we got to do, we got to get them washed. So we're going to put these in a big old bowl, and we're going to wash these to death. Meet me over at the sink. Okay, I seen a little green spot I didn't like. Always cut off imperfections. Cut those off because they don't need to be used. And I'm only going to use half of every piece. This half is going to get wrapped up and go into the fridge. And all of them, I'm going to do the same thing because I'm not going to use the whole pepper. So I'm just going to take a chunk out of all of them. And then these are going to be rinsed and washed again. I have some type of, I don't know. I just have to make sure that my vegetables are clean, very clean. Some people don't like those, but I do. I just have to have mine clean. You don't have to. You can chop those babies up anytime you want, put them in your food, and get to working. Okay, now we're going to chop these up julienne style. Let me put these in the fridge, and let's go ahead and chop these. Okay, so we're just going to julienne these. We're going to do ours pretty thin. And we're going to do them all like that. Any seeds that you see left, you're going to rinse those off anyway. I'm just going to julienne these. I like cutting because it just makes me relax. It makes me feel comfortable and I feel really great. And I feel like, hey, I prepared this dish by hand, and I did this and I put my heart and soul in here. I got some water in the pan and a teaspoon of olive oil. You can use salt. A lot of people use salt. I kind of lay out the salt, so I'm using a little bit of olive oil. I'm using a pound of penne pasta. So you can use, and that's what it is. You can use any type of penne pasta you want. I'm going to wait till the water starts to boil. I'm going to dump these in here, give it a quick stir. Keep giving it a quick stir. Every now and then come back until it is a bite-sized tender and they'll be ready. And then we'll finish up our Jamaican dish. We're going to add about a teaspoon of olive oil to our pan. This is a non-stick pan, so you don't really need that much oil. And once you put that teaspoon of oil in there, all that's going to do is get hot and spread, and it's going to look like a lot of oil. But it's just a teaspoon, and it's olive oil. Okay, we're going to get this pan nice and hot, and we're going to get our shrimp out. My shrimp, and let's let it sizzle. See, some of them still have some juice from where the juice is coming off. I'm just going to drain that juice. Make sure I get all this seasoned and get all the garlic I can get out of this bowl. Because I don't want the water, but I do want the bits and pieces of the good stuff that's in there. And that's that Jamaican jerk seasoning mix. Okay, for what I couldn't get out, we're going to be adding a little bit more anyway to our sauce. We got those in there, and we got those working. Okay, so they've been in here for a couple minutes. Let's try to flip a little bit. Flip some of these shrimp. Just want to get them nice and pink. And you can tell when they start turning pink. See? Start turning pink. Oh, well, you can't probably see with all that. Well, you'll see. So we're going to flip these. Okay, these have been nicely charred, but not too much because they just now turning pink. We have cleaned our bowl, and I washed that when I cleaned up. And I'm going to throw these shrimp back into the bowl because now we're going to be doing the vegetables. And we're just going to let these sit. There's the little charred pieces. Now we're going to take some olive oil. We're going to put it back in the pan. Same amount of olive oil. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and we're going to be frying these vegetables. Now we put some garlic in here, about another half teaspoon of garlic. Teaspoon this time, guys. Teaspoon. I gotta know my teaspoons and my tablespoons, which I do. I just say the wrong thing sometimes. But I'm correcting it and I get it together, and I'm throwing this in here. Let's season these babies up because they don't get seasoned. You know, 1/4 teaspoon of Mrs. Dash. And I'm gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. I think there's 2 different garlics. You got fresh garlic and then you got garlic powder together. I think they just make a different taste, which it does to me. I mean, believe me, I know. I'm just gonna, you know, toss these around, get some flavor, and I'm gonna add a pinch of sea salt. And I'm just taking a pinch of sea salt and I'm sprinkling on there, and the rest of it, throw it over my shoulders, which I won't because it's so disgusting. You have to clean it up. Throw it into the garbage. Alright. Gonna fry these up. Get a little, hope they got a little seasoning in them, which they do. Because all those seasons I put in there make seasoning. Oh, these smell so good, guys. I'm using half and half cup, of milk. A half cup of milk. And I got a half cup of milk in here. And then I'm going to use a cup and a half of heavy cream. There's my heavy cream. I got a little milk and I got half cup, 1.5 cup of heavy cream. Let me get this out because I'm greedy. I got to scrape all this heavy cream out. So let me get my spatula. Okay, now I got my spatula and I'm just scraping out the rest of it. I just hate to see things that are not, you know, scraped out really good. I mean, I don't know. That's just my fetish. I want to see all of it out. You know, like I'm really taking it out. You know, some people leave it in there. Okay, so now I'm just going to turn this up on medium now. And we're going to let this just do a simmer with the veggies that are in there. Another tablespoon of that jerk season mix inside the milk. And I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna use a whisk, guys. And I'm just gonna whisk that jerk season mix into this milk. You know, you can put a little more Mrs. Dash in there if you want. Just gonna mix this up. Or, you know, season it up. I always go by taste. Get an extra little spoon, and I always taste mine as I go so I can tell what it needs and what it doesn't need. So you're gonna have to, like, you know, kind of like give it your all. Your taste buds are more important. It tells you what tastes good and what doesn't. Okay, now that it had came to a boil, I turned it and let it simmer down. Then I'm gonna add about a half cup of Parmesan cheese. Starting off, and I'm going to stir that in there in that hot liquid, making sure it gets combined in there well. So then I put it on really low simmer, and I'm just stirring it, getting that cheese melted in there. All right. Some people do put mozzarella on it. They bake it if you want to. Now I think I'm going to start adding those shrimp in there. Once I keep mixing this and make sure I get all that cheese melted in there. Okay, I'm going to add some shrimp. I'm going to save some so I can put on top. Okay, so I'm going to add some shrimp in there. Because, you know, I only cook those shrimp medium, not all the way. And there's my vegetables in there. And I just want those shrimp to soak, and it's on really low. I just want them to get in there and get into all that flavor. And there we go. And I end up using a 2 cups of this Parmesan shredded cheddar, cheese. I'm sorry, Parmesan shredded. Or you can do your own and you know, shred your own. It'd be good. Use about a cup or 2 cups. enough where it gives a little flavor. Like I said, you know, you got to get a little spoon, and you just take this and put some on your spoon and taste it to your taste and see what, you know, what it's like. And you want to keep stirring because I don't want that cheese to mix. It'll stick at the bottom and turn into a big gooey mess. Okay, so, and if you want to, you can like do your vegetables like a little crunchy, because if they're going to go back into this wonderful, delicious stuff, you want them to be soft, but you want them to, I like them a little crunchy. You can have them any way you want. And our noodles that we cooked, we cooled off, and we're just going to toss some of these inside here. Make a really good noodle dish. Oh, look at that. Matter of fact, I think we can just toss the rest of these in here, because they're going to take all of this, because it's a lot. And we're going to toss it all together. And this is it. And we want, because these noodles are going to soak up the juice. So that's why I didn't want to put them all in there, because they might soak all the juice up. But we're going to let them sit there and marinate in all that juice and let it soak up and give flavor to the noodles. After we tossed all this and we got it together, we're going to let this sit for about 15-20 minutes. So all those good seasons is going to get real thick, and that cream's going to come together and get a little thicker, and you're going to have the perfect dish. Hey, this is my son's Rasta Pasta, his way. Don't forget, you're watching Be Sure to Cook, so it's Be Sure to Cook's way. So here it is, and we have let it sit, and the sauce has gotten thick. Let's plate this up and see how it looks. And here is my shrimp Rasta Pasta. My son loves the shrimp Rasta Pasta, and I made it just for him. This is a family size. You can have it for with anybody, your loved one, your kids, on a nice cozy night, a nice warm night, a nice snowy night, any night. Rasta Pasta, shrimp Rasta Pasta. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed making this dish with me. I hope you come back and make plenty more dishes. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we can make more dishes to come. Hey, see you all guys next time. Bye.